Welcome back, dear knitting friends. I hope you had fun trying some of the knitting projects in this playlist that helps us have fun creating things with wool while remembering its gifts and its healing powers and the little sparkles of magic we can find within it if we are careful enough and patient enough to feel it and to understand it and to work with it. One of the easiest ways to connect with its cozy, nourishing presence in our lives is through creating your own wool socks and slippers. This series of videos will take you through the steps of knitting this fun sock that has a fold-over cuff. It's knitted in 2 colors, and it has colorwork on the heel flap. That's a rose bloom, and it has colorwork around the cuff fold-over part, which has little flower leaves, little rose leaves surrounding it. And it has a stretchy foot instead. I used yellow and gray. My intention with these colors was to have a contrast that will stand out as you work along and knit along with me to make it easier for you to follow. You can choose your own colors. I would probably love some greens and light purples, or even blues and whites, or even reds and whites and greens. There's so many color choices. All right, today, before you start working, you will want to take a look at the picture of the sock that I will include in the links in the description. You will want to take a look at the pattern for both the rose and the leaves, which will also be linked in the description of the video. And you will want to choose yarn. You will want to choose worsted wool yarn in 2 colors. Here are the 2 colors I used. And you want the thickness for knitting needles that are 4 millimeters in thickness. If you have this type of yarn and this needle size, you can follow the series working on the sock that will end up being a medium women's sock size, about somewhere between shoe size 8 and 10 US, or 38 to 40 women's size, European shoe size. If you want to make this a larger sock, when we get to this point, you will knit more to match the length of your foot. If you want to make it wider, you will want to add an even number of stitches to the cast on that we do. I would suggest adding 4 stitches to make it the next size up, or removing 4 stitches to make it the next size down. All right, so today, this is video 1. Your task is choose the yarn, find your 4 millimeter double pointed knitting needles, take a look at the picture of the sock in the linked description, and take a look at the pattern. I want to show you the pattern, so let's take a look at it together. You're going to see the pattern drawing I made for you that looks like this. The gray leaves go around the cuff, and the yellow flower is the rose on the heel flap. You will be able to print out this pattern, but I do suggest that you copy it by hand. The reason is, especially if you're new to colorwork, by copying it by hand, you're going to get very familiar with the placement of the stitches. You will also notice where you have more than 3 stitches of one color, where you will need to weave your yarn in the back of your work to avoid having long loops on the back. You remember when we did the previous pair of slippers, we did a lot of that practice. So drawing will really help you do that. The next video will take us through the cast on and the yellow part of the cuff. After that, we're going to work on this rim here, the little scalloped edge that you can see. It might be hard to see it in front of my gray scarf, but here you can see it. You can see how it's scalloped, and you'll see it very clearly in my top-down videos that will take you through the instructions. All right, go ahead, get your supplies, get your pattern ready, and I will see you in the next video when we will start knitting.